Greetings and bienvenue, Midnight Crew. Thank you for returning to this broadcast. And welcome to new viewers joining us for the first time. If you like a video, then feel free to subscribe.
Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Anybody ever had anything unsettling or strange happen to them at their workplace? This isn't exactly /x/worthy, but made my skin crawl. Be a PC repair guy in a small, economically depressed rural town. I get all kinds of customers, lots of farmers. They're normally cool and tip with produce. Every now and then I get weirdos, though. A recent customer was having a serious hard drive failure. The dude was too giggly, a big, tall, obese country boy. I figured he was just simple or straight up stupid. I get to the point of data recovery, start noticing he has almost 100 gigs of videos. It's all kinds of stuff, but most of it is zoo. Some of it with a woman who looks like she was coerced or in a lot of pain dealing with the animals. This shit is in his family pictures folder. I shudder and copy over non-horse human male pictures. Job is done. The dude comes to pick up his computer, brings his wife and kid. Holy shit, the woman in the pictures was his wife. She looks like she just wants to lay down and die. Their daughter is maybe 4, wearing a t-shirt with a horse on it. Not MLP, like something you'd see on the side of a van. The dude can't keep his hands off his daughter, who has bags under her eyes and is quiet the entire time. The dude pays me and leaves. I realize afterward I likely dealt not only with a final phase brony, but a dude who is probably a Minecraft YouTuber and plotting something evil with his daughter. OP here. The dude left his failing drive here, with all that stuff on it. I don't even want to look at it now. I don't know how our police would deal with it. They don't really have a computer technician on their team, and they've had to call me several times to break passwords on comps found at local meth labs. I could probably attempt to recover the data again. The drive wasn't failing so bad a second attempt wouldn't work, but I don't know if they'd hold me accountable for it, or if they'd even pursue it. As much as it pains me to say it, drugs are a bigger problem here, and I don't have any evidence he's doing anything to his daughter, which is what really concerns me. Just his wife in the pics, and the animals. OP here. Cops have been called. Harddrive handed over to a friend on the force.
I've got one. I drive long haul for a company out of southern Kansas, but I live in California, so I run along Interstate 40 a lot in Arizona and New Mexico. I interact with a lot of strange people and have odd experiences out here on the road. None that I can say for sure are paranormal, mostly just really weird people. Here's an example. I was parked at a truck stop in Gallup, New Mexico a few weeks back. It was around 2 to 3 a.m. and I was fast asleep in the sleeper of my truck. I got a knock on the door, not uncommon for people to go from truck to truck asking for handouts, and got up to go tell whoever it was to beat it. What I saw was the most unnerving sight. A lady, I think, was standing on my step up to my truck looking in my window at me, wide-eyed and manic looking. I grabbed my tire thumper and told her to get back. She did, but then she lingered just below the window of the cab, staring up at me. At this point, I'm pissed off that she woke me up and scared the piss out of me, so I rolled the window down just enough so she could hear me tell her to get lost. And she responded by asking me if she could come sit down in my cab for a minute. Normally, I would just think lot lizard, but the way she said it and the look on her face made me nope so hard. I locked my door, told her to fuck off, and went back to bed. Half an hour later, she came back and started knocking furiously on the side of my sleeper, demanding that I let her in. I got out, tire thumper in hand, and as I did so, she took off running around the back of my truck and across the parking lot and down the street. I noped back into my truck and called the cops. It was so weird.
Summer 2009. 17 years old. I work at a gas station before school starts again. One of those dilapidated 1,000-year-old gas stations that were bought out, I think, by a bigger gas company. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, you ever see those gas stations with no name on the actual building, but the canopy above the gas pumps have like Valero or Citgo on it? It's like that. I work the morning shift. Every now and then the night shift lady says Larry came in last night. Eventually I assume Larry is a higher up who treats employees like shit because the overnight lady looks like hell every time she talks about him. I talk to her about him to be polite, but I never catch anything because I'm half paying attention. Fall 2009. School is back, but I want to keep coasting on that sweet, sweet $8.45 an hour, so I take the night shift. About 3 long, boring weeks in, a man comes in, fat, dressed in a nice tan suit, a 10-gallon hat, and a bolo tie with a bull's skull. Imagine the rich Texan from The Simpsons. He walks in the store and immediately the lights flicker off for about 2 seconds. The lights come back on and he's staring at me. I say, old buildings, right? The rich Texan looks away and walks to a shelf. I think he's just being a dick. He walks from the shelf to the freezer, just staring at things. Walks up to the counter, glares at me with an upset, almost angry look. Is there anything I can help you with, sir? He continues to stare. I place my hand on the silent alarm, then back up a bit in case he takes a swing at me. After about a minute straight of silently staring, he just walks out of the store. I shrug it off and finish the night. As soon as I get home, I feel so sore like I was in a goddamn car accident. I fall asleep and wake up with the worst, most debilitating flu I've ever had. I try to call in. My manager says I need to come in to talk about something. Apparently the camera was out that entire night, so that means I must have unplugged them to steal shit. I try to explain that the power outage knocked out the camera. The overnight lady chimes in. See, he saw him. He saw Larry. Was he wearing a tan suit? The manager cuts her off and fires me. Apparently, letting a high schooler work overnight is a big no-no, and accusing me of stealing crossed the line. Shortly after I left, I had lunch with the overnight lady. Talked to her about him, and according to her, Larry is the gas station's very first manager who was crushed under a car while changing its oil or something, back when it doubled as an auto mechanic garage in the early 70s. Once the store was suited as a gas station, they had issues getting it up and running because of a series of electrical failures, one resulting in a fire that caused the place to be rebuilt from the foundation up. According to Larry's now passed away wife, he had a passion for cars and would have turned in his grave if anything were to happen to the garage. About 3 years after I left high school, an overnight lady named Gladys hung herself in the back stockroom with an extension cord. Living in a small town, the news spread like wildfire, and the place lost business and closed down.
That's pretty cool, but what do you think was the manager's opinion on Larry? Did he not believe he was real? From the several times the overnight lady saw him, didn't the camera catch him?
He was one of those I'm always right, you're always wrong. No-nonsense managers everyone loves. And far as I know, he came in whenever there were problems, otherwise he was a ghost. Gladys tried bringing Larry up to him, but he either dismissed it as an urban legend, or Gladys trying to get out of work, despite never calling once in her 12 years of employment. As for the surveillance, it was just a webcam set up to one of those never-obsolete computers, so most of the time the footage was corrupt. Coincidentally, always after Gladys had an incident with Larry, I checked a few times.
2012. Starting my new armed security overnight job. A veteran boomer guy is walking me around. He avoids a particular door. He's literally showing me everything else, and opens every door except door 103. I ask him what's in that door as we're going down the hall. We don't go in there, ever. He put emphasis on the word ever. Fast forward about 4 months, I'm doing the shift alone, because the boomer called in, walking down the hall, whistling, because it's just me there. I come up on door 103, put my hand on the doorknob, and it's locked. I've got the boomer's keys, though, and I'm going through them. I finally find it. It's just an old storage closet. A couple of plastic shelves are along the wall, but there's a TV and DVD player in the corner with a metal chair. A tote is next to the chair, and the stupid idiot put his name on it. I open the tote, full of the boomer's private collection and a few documents. I guess it doubled as a safe deposit box. Japanese tentacle comics, Chris Chan storybooks, and 2 burned DVDs marked Jen and Taylor. I find out by watching that Jen and Taylor were both hookers he would visit. Both look like the type of hooker you'd pay upscale for. All those times he said he was going to take a dump, he was probably in here. He probably put his germs all over the camera controls and everything else, plus every doorknob in the place. I freak out and wash my hands for half an hour, scrub my pistol, all the stuff on my belt, the keys, my face when I found the boomer's private room. Told my manager because he was an asshole to me anyway. They fired him.
I work at a water park that does catering for parties. The company party has 3,000 people. They eat at lunchtime, so everyone needs to come in at midnight and start work. 15 people are in the kitchen prepping, cutting, and cooking. I need to grab more food to cook from our fast food kitchen's freezer in the middle of the park. One manager loudly announces that someone should go with me to unlock the kitchen. The other 2 managers look visibly concerned. The youngest manager has to go with me. We head up. The park is pitch black because the only parts of the park that are powered are the kitchen and bathrooms. It's literally a minute away via golf cart. I could have just used a push cart to do the work. We pass by one tube ride and wonder why the water is still running. Can't see but can hear water exiting the tube slide and hitting the capture pool. We grab the prepped food and head back down. I can see the manager's hands shaking on the steering wheel. We pass by the tube slide again. I hear splashing and the sound of someone getting out of the water. The manager floors the cart and some of the food we have on the bed of the cart slides off. The manager jumps out of the cart and pulls me in. I'm worried the other managers would be pissed at all the food we wasted. The managers do a huddle and gather us together. They tell us to not leave the kitchen unless it's to use the bathroom, and that if they needed to smoke, they can do it just outside the door with it open. Creeped out. A few hours later, we went to clean up the food that spilled all over the ground. All the pieces of pork butt we dropped are gone, just a smear on the ground where they dropped. I found out that a few years ago, a lifeguard drowned in the capture pool of the slide after the park closed. Apparently, the lifeguard saw some jewelry at the bottom of the pool and dived in to score easy cash. He got caught by the suction at the bottom and drowned. I find out that whenever the park has a big catering party, they rent trucks to keep the food next to the main kitchen.
Be working as a dog caretaker at a kennel in high school. Be up at the front, talking with my boss. A lady walks in. We close in 10 minutes, so we assume she's there to pick up a dog late. The lady is shifty as hell. She never comes to the desk, just walks around looking up at the ceiling. She would stare at each of our security cameras as well. Finally, she walks over and asks us, "What do we do here?" As if it was not obvious with the barking dogs, pallets of dog food, and dog toys everywhere. My boss starts telling her. She hands her a brochure. On the back is a Bible verse. I forget what is said exactly, but as soon as the lady read it, she became more uncomfortable. "What is this from?" My boss tells her it's a Bible quote about loving animals, blah blah. The lady gets pissed, calls us autistic, leaves. 2 nights later, my boss and her husband catch someone trying to break in. Personally, I think she was casing us, but she was odd, and especially where I live, it is odd to meet people bothered by Bible verses.
Be Anon's mother, who works for the Secretariat Department in the government. Usually I get sent with my team on many trips across the country to check on the implementation of recent laws and other things. I get sent for a week to a coastal city that my team has never been to before. We booked a small local hotel with no more than 3 floors. I arrived and realized that there was a large chain hotel available just 2 blocks down. I was a little disappointed, but hey, we're here not for a vacation anyway. The hotel was old, with low-ceiling single rooms. The women stayed on the 3rd floor while the guys stayed on the 2nd. Upon setting my bags in my room, I instantly felt uneasy. I knew that our stay in the hotel would be a rather quirky one. The week goes on with doing the survey and data collecting during the day, and a little sightseeing during the night. The first night I felt a little bit uncomfortable, but at this point, I just thought that it was just me unused to the new surroundings. But for one of my female teammates, who was in the early stage of pregnancy, it was not so much. She felt this strange feeling, and it was coming from her bathroom. You see, the bathroom's door there is just below the bed, so if you put your head up a bit, you would see it. But other than that, nothing else happens. The second night, I am starting to feel my hunch from my first day here is true. My uncomfortableness is still there. I couldn't pinpoint this gut feeling, however. My pregnant teammate, we'll just call her Preggy from now on, got the same feelings as the night before. She just prays a lot more to keep up with the situation. On the third day, Preggy complained about her situation and decided to switch rooms with the other woman. The guys heard her complaints as well, and later asked around people in the area. When inquired about it, they were just told that the building was old, so hey, weird shit happens eventually. Third night, Preggy is settling in her new room and now is sleeping somewhat more soundly. But she gets nightmares now. The visions are blurry, but she is seeing silhouettes. She is awoken by a sound of crashing from the bathroom, as if the bathroom just employs a large bucket for storing water and that baler was thrown. It looks like whatever is there, it's following her. She won't take a risk, just stays in bed and sleeps again. As for my mother, she heard whispers from her bathroom, but she sort of dismissed it as a dream as well. Fourth night. Preggy is feeling cold spots in her bathroom now, and when she sleeps, she's getting nightmares again. This time it's more clear, yet the silhouette stays blurred. My mother is awoken at night with the thought of something in her bathroom. She prayed it away, and the feeling did dissipate over time. The next day, Preggy told her experience again. The team attributes these happenings due to her pregnancy. It is widely believed that pregnant women are somehow attracted to supernatural beings after all. The guys promised to ask around again, but again, to seemingly no avail. Fifth night. This is the last night since the team would be coming back tomorrow morning. Preggy tried to sleep, but she felt the cold spots expanding and surrounding her. She finally managed to get some sleep late at night, only to be welcomed by the dream again. This time she was face to face with the silhouette that is starting to become clear. Both are closing their distance, in which Preggy could recognize the silhouette as a woman as well. And she's pregnant, just like her. Then she's awake. Then she noticed the bathroom door opens. In the large plastic bucket where the water is kept, stuffed is a rotting corpse of the woman of her dreams. Then it disappears, leaving the bathroom dark and empty. Preggy could only hide behind the cover, silently crying and praying for the safety of her and her baby. In the morning, my mother and her colleague found Preggy distraught and afraid, then helped her pack up. They left the hotel still with regret for not finding out about that hotel chain first. The events of last night seemed to rekindle the feelings. During the airplane ride, Preggy got her much-needed sleep. Then one of the guys called my mother and the rest of the team. He said that they did find something about the hotel from a nearby street peddler. Back in the 80s, the hotel was an apartment, and on the third floor lived a secluded young woman who didn't go out much. She barely interacted with people, so they didn't really know much about her. Still, it was weird that she suddenly stopped being seen for days. Then there was this foul smell on the third floor, which the building owner and residents investigated. It turns out the woman was dead during premature childbirth. Nobody really knew her, or even realized that she was having a baby. Her weak figure and general unhealthiness had rendered her helpless during the process. Not knowing anyone else, she was forced to go through the ordeal alone. She died bleeding, cradling a presumably dead baby on her own bed. The apartment was sold not long after that. Hotel owners acquired the building in the late 90s and renovated its interior, turning it into a decent hotel. The staff didn't really want the story to get out and scare potential visitors. That explains the initial lack of information. The guys also felt bad if they were to tell Preggy the story, since they figured it would scare her, so they kept quiet about it. Since then, the team kind of avoids local hotels when traveling.
Be me, working at a CVS in Maryland, working my ass off doing all sorts of shifts, trying to show I deserve a promotion. I end up doing the overnight with some cashier that is perfect for overnight. The guy is great at looking after the front, so I can get a lot of work done in the back room and upstairs storage. The upstairs area only comprised the area of the storage room, essentially a 2-story storage room. It has 2 sets of stairs going upstairs, one in the back and one closer to the loading doors. I'm doing a lot of runs between upstairs and downstairs, listening to music on my phone with no headphones, just blaring my tunes. As I'm doing scans, to my left is the back stairwell upstairs. It's got a door on the 1st and 2nd floor with a fire escape door also on the 1st. The doors had small square windows on them, just a normal stairwell. I hear someone coming down the steps. It's loud enough to hear over my music. Puzzled, I investigate. Nothing. I go back to my work. It happens a few more times, always that back stairwell. Nothing comes from it, and I start getting a little paranoid. I go up front to not be back there and start shooting the shit with a coworker. I ask him if he's ever heard anything or seen anything back there. He tells me he never really goes back there because he gets stuck doing the register stuff. freeshrugs.webem. After about a week of this, I bring it up to the AM manager that relieves me. Oh, you mean the white man? Apparently, a few people have heard steps and even seen a man walking the steps every now and again. I did some digging since I'm into that sort of stuff, and it turns out before CVS bought the land to build the building, an old man lived on the land in a little house. It was sorta swampy, mucky ground. When he died, the land went up for sale. CVS bought it. The guy died in his little house, probably never leaving the house and isolated from the outside world. He never did any spoopy stuff besides walking around. Never messed with anyone.
Back in 1998 or 99, me and my buddy Josh are complete basement dweller stoners. See and see red alert all day. Our parents are getting on our case about jobs. Josh gets a job as a butcher's assistant at a small ghetto grocery store. It's like Aldi, but worse. He lied about being a butcher at a since-closed grocery store to get the job. He fakes the first couple of weeks of training by saying that the equipment at his old job was way older than the stuff they have. He gets trained from the ground up by a tatted-up crazy butcher. Fuck it. 12 an hour back then was rich. He disregards the crazy butcher dude. Free steaks. Fast forward about a month. I come over to his spot. Josh, you all right? You look shook up, man. I quit my job today. Free steaks gone .png. What the fuck? Why? I found this under one of the slicers. He hands me a 20-page book someone printed off their computer. The title page says The Church of Cannibalism. Motherfucker, what? 20 pages of nothing but evangelist ramblings and recipes for how to cook children and women and men. A website at the bottom of each page. A long-ass URL. This was back in the late 90s, so no, I don't remember the web page. Have you looked it up yet? Hell no, I don't want to be on a list. We get the balls up to look. Sure as shit, it's a whole forum and web page dedicated to cooking and butchering people. Diagrams of the best cuts, like that picture showing you what part of a cow certain steaks come from. Message boards, the whole nine. We're freaking out. We then try just the first part of the URL, the main web page. A totally legit-looking church web page with absolutely no hyperlinks to the cannibal stuff. We what the fuck out and never speak about it to anyone.
I used to be a baker at a restaurant in Georgetown, D.C. Baking has a lot of waiting-based downtime, so I got a lot of smoke breaks. The head pastry chef and I used to go next door to our restaurant. There was an old shop that was closing down and we would sit on their stoop to smoke. We spoke with the owner a couple of times as he would sometimes be moving old stuff from the store out the door. He was very nice and didn't mind us smoking there since he was no longer in business. One day, we went out to smoke, and there was a guy standing by the door I'd never seen before. As we approached, he took out a badge to show us and said, "Keep walking." We went around the corner to a little office park type thing to smoke instead. Two guys came up and asked for a smoke. We gave them cigarettes. They thanked us and walked away. They came back with a gun out and robbed us. This was at 2 in the afternoon, about 15 feet from a busy street. A mugging is a mugging. Shit happens. But it always weirded me out that we got sent over there by a government agent and otherwise would have been in full view of foot traffic and thus safe. The muggers were two young, street-looking guys. If the middle-aged, well-dressed man who badged us was working with them, I'd be extremely surprised.
The way you describe it, I doubt he was working with them. He didn't use the badge to escort you to a specific good spot for a mugging. He just told you to go elsewhere. Then you went somewhere on your own. Somewhere the guys who spotted you thought made a good spot for a mugging. The badge guy was probably legitimately doing something official, stakeout or whatever, and didn't want bystanders around. Maybe he was looking for a couple them known to be muggers and was just really bad at it.
Be me, a Walmart manager. Scary enough already, but here's the rest. The Walmart is built on grounds that were once a state hospital for mentally ill children. I'm always seeing people walk up to the counter when I'm doing something, but no one is there when I look. Always hearing children laughing when it gets a little quiet. Creepy, but somehow tolerable. Hurricane Irene starts. Power goes out. The store must be cleared of customers. Please don't pick me, please don't pick me. Anon, go clear the back rooms? Fuck my luck. Eerie red light and creepy beeping due to dead alarm systems. I start walking toward the break room, walk past the personnel door. Immediately start to hear kids laughing. It's coming from the break room. Man's sense of duty incoming. I must complete my mission. I get closer, start to hear kids talking. He's coming closer. I want to play with him. Let's hide and see if he can find us. I take one step forward. They might be real kids. Suddenly, footsteps run by me. The personnel door flies open behind me. Nope, directly out the fire exit.
2000. I was 18. I'd been running transport for several major dealers since I was 16. I knew most of these guys since I was 12. I thought I was a gangster. A guy I knew was small-time but ambitious. He ended up selling more weed than his supplier could keep up with. I know a guy. I give the meet and greet and the deal is done. 5 pounds a week on front delivered to him. Happy as a clam, everything is going swell. We're all high as hell and making money. The supplier dude says he's going on vacation for a while with his wife and kids. Don't worry, he says. Delivery will still happen, he says. Week 1, he's on vacation. A little Mexican guy shows up. Knocks on the door, we open it, he comes in, sets down a gym bag and leaves. He never said shit. End of the week, the same dude shows up. We open the door, he comes in, we hand him the money for the last week and he leaves. Not one word. The second week, we get a call from the main guy. Hey fellas, still on vacation. Different guys are gonna come around, but they are cool, I vouch for them. Sketchy, but this guy's whole family is connected. Sinaloa cartel for like 3 generations. 2 white guys show up, young raver types. The shit's good. They were nice. Whatever, cool. We put the 5 pounds in the closet. Only me and my friend and the 2 rave kids know it's there. They leave and me and my friend go out to drink and eat. We came back to the apartment about 2 hours later. Broken window. We opened the closet. No weed. Nothing else was touched at all. All the rage builds. The problem is we don't know if the supplier set us up or if the rave kids acted alone. We discuss it for the night and decide to wait until the supplier gets back. 3 days later, the supplier dude is back from vacation. We talk to him. We tell him what happened. He's cool as a cucumber. Lots of wow, that sucks, and yeah, I understand. And robberies happen, so just don't worry about it. He clears the $2,000 we owed him for the shit that got stolen, and just gives us 5 more pounds free and about 100 ecstasy tabs for the problems. We're confused now. This guy doesn't ever just let go of money, regardless of who or how it got lost. Ecstasy was going for $25 to $30 a pill back then. Fast forward about a month. We totally forgot about the robbery. Everything is business as usual. The main supplier guy calls me up. Hey, need you to pick up a couple of guys to go make a buy. Pick 'em up, go to the spot and take them back. Routine shit at this point. I go pick up the guys. I recognize one of them as they get in my car. Oh shit, it's the silent Mexican who dropped off the weed the first week. They both get in the back of my car. They say nothing the entire ride. I go to the spot for the buy, some apartment complex. I park and they get out, I follow. We get to the apartment and they knock. The whole time I'm shitting bricks because these two dudes haven't said shit and I know what they're about. Guess who opens the door? The raver kid and his buddy. They don't even remember me. We walk in and sit down. The silent dude pulls out an easy 20 grand and asks in perfect English, "Show me the tabs." The rave kid goes and gets the tabs. I was told it was 5,000 tabs later, but all I know is it was a sack of ecstasy. As soon as the silent dude knows it's legit, him and his buddy pull out pistols and press them to each of the raver kids' heads. Very quietly, the silent one says, "Where's your money, and where's the rest of the dope?" I put my cool face on because I'm already too deep to back out. They took all the drugs and money these guys had. I drove them back to their spot in complete silence and let them out. They gave me the 5 pounds of weed and close to 200 tabs. I got out and never saw them again. The most fucked up day ever. Oh yeah, it was at like 2 in the afternoon, in broad daylight. That was the day I cut all ties to that life. I thought I was a badass little thug drug dealer, until I actually ran with the badass drug dealers and realized this shit wasn't all parties and respect and easy money. Shit can turn on its head so fast. Main supplier dude ended up a year later doing 5 years for 4 kilos of coke. Also, a good friend of mine disappeared after he owed that guy 30 grand in coke.
I guess I'll contribute too. First, a little backstory. I've been working at a funeral home in the Bronx, New York since I was a teenager. Just for some extra cash while I finish up school and shit. I've only had a few weird things happen to me. Here's the most prominent one. B17, hanging out with friends when I get a removal call. It's roughly 11 p.m. at this point. The house is up in Westchester, maybe 20 minutes away. I arrive, all spick and span. The house looks very well maintained. Audis in the driveway, easy 50 to 60 grand landscaping. I walk inside with the stretcher, greet the family. Cordials ensue. "Can you please lead me to your mother so we can begin the process?" Now this is where it gets bad. Not supernatural, just really weird. I open the door to the bedroom and I'm met with that smell. I look over to the bed and I can hardly even see the body. It's so badly decomposed. "What the fuck, why?" I say in my head. I do what I have to do with the boss and chain smoke in the car on the way to the funeral home to fight the smell. Basically, based on the state of decomposition and the temperature of the house, this lady had to be dead for at least a week or two. I understand that everyone grieves in different ways, but come on. 2 weeks. Like I said, nothing too supernatural, just really weird and disturbing to me at the time.
I hope that you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. If you enjoyed tonight's story, then please subscribe to the channel as more Greentext will appear daily. A new broadcast will appear when the clock strikes midnight Central Time.